Hey, have you taken a good look at the banks lately? On the surface, everything seems fine, but there's a whole lot more going on underneath. It's like looking under the hood of a car and finding a mess of broken wires and parts. Truth is, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Why risk your money for a tiny 5% return when things are so shaky? This is where Noble Gold Investments can help. They know how you can keep your money safe. They suggest gold and silver, oldies but goodies in the financial world. Plus, they've got a sweet deal, a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin this month if you qualify. Pretty cool, right? If you're curious, just give them a call at 877-646-5347. It's just a chat, no pressure. They'll help you figure out if gold and silver are right for you. Or visit noblegoldinvestments.com and take the first step towards a safer financial future. Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's Jean Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspired live stream. It is Monday, February 5th, 2024. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free, and we're winning, my friends. We are winning. It's so good to see you. We started this off with a cold open of these beautiful images from Germany, the German farmers displaying love, unity, resolution, revolution, peaceful revolution in so many ways. It's inspiring to watch it. And I can tell you right now, they're going to have to shut off the internet pretty soon because the momentum is just growing. And I don't think there's anything that can be done at this point. People are talking, people are getting together, people are sharing. And the Germans surprise me more and more and more. Just simply because that's not a big cultural thing over there. People to protest, to go against authority, those are not really big among the Germans, and they're doing it, and they're currently really stepping up, and I love it. All the others too, the French, the Italian, Netherlands, Belgium, you name it, they're there. Even the Swiss. I saw the Irish people are also out marching. The movement is there, my friends. The truckers were doing their thing over here. It was a spiritual convoy that they had, impactful, very impactful from what we heard. So I just wanted to start this on a very positive note. It's very wonderful what is happening. So now let's dive a little bit into this Tucker story. It kind of all plays together. I'm not gonna pretend this is disconnected. This is an unprecedented start to a year. I've never seen anything like it, including 2020, because what we're seeing now is exponential, interconnected. It's all over the place. And I think the spirit is really moving into people. I think this is the most beautiful thing. This is what I love so much about all these movements is people are together. They are talking. Spirit is contagious. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. Now the Tucker story. So some of you might have heard Tucker Carlson is in Moscow. Now the conversation around this is going, is he there to interview Putin? Has he potentially already interviewed him? Where did this all start? So let's go to the beginning. Last year, Tucker was doing an interview on a podcast, and he was talking about what had happened to him when he first even planned on talking to the Russian president, Vladimir Putin. So let's look at what he said then in 2023.
They broke into my Signal account, which I didn't know they could do.
How do you know the NSA broke into your Signal?
Because they admitted it. I got a call from somebody in Washington. This person said, are you going to come to Washington anytime soon? Yeah, actually, I'm going to be up in a week. Meet me Sunday morning. So I go, and this person's like, are you planning a trip to go see Putin? And I was like, how would you know that? I haven't told anybody. I mean, anybody. Not my brother, not my wife, nobody. How would you know that? Because NSA pulled your text with this other person you were texting. How did you know that?
Okay, so this was Tucker last year hinting at this. Frankly, it's not surprising. Tucker Carlson is currently the biggest journalist, probably in terms of reach in the world, not just in the United States. He's been reaching hundreds of millions of people over the last months, especially since leaving Fox and doing this on X. There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't want to go and interview these high caliber people. However, of course, this is a highly sensitive issue. And in the past, journalists going to interview foreign leaders, especially leaders that the United States or another country was at war with, which effectively that's what's going on. This is not as simple as it looks, and so we're going to dive a little deeper into the words are not coming out, into the intricacies. Now, what we know so far is Tucker had a brief conversation with a Russian journalist. This is a clip that is floating the social media sphere. Let's look at this little conversation between the Russian journalist and Tucker Carlson in Moscow.
My name is Alexei. I like you. You're the best American. My name is Alexei. I like you. You're the best American journalist.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, where are you
What?
from?
I'm from Moscow.
Я люблю этот город, он красивый.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really, yes. What do you do in Russia?
I just wanted to.
Хотел на нее посмотреть, я так много читал о ней. Я хотел поговорить с людьми и посмотреть на то, как все устроено.
So I wanted to talk to people and look around and see how it was doing. And it's doing very well.
I think maybe interview Putin.
We'll see.
Why your visit in Moscow was American media?
I don't know.
Я не знаю, они сумасшедшие, реально сумасшедшие.
Yeah? Crazy?
It's crazy. Really crazy. Very crazy.
Okay, so this was a little clip into probably what happened somewhere in a hotel lobby. Now, we don't know whether these things are steered from certain directions or not. What I can tell you is, with a certain amount of certainty, now, I would think that a trip by a high caliber person like Tucker Carlson to Russia at this point could not happen without some sort of involvement of the State Department. I would think that there was communication. I think there is certainly, I would think there will be a debrief after he comes back. I don't think this can happen without it. I don't think that certain procedures would allow for that. In the past, this is how things would have been handled. Now, people are even insinuating that Tucker might be there negotiating something on behalf of we don't know who. But there's a very strong law in place called the Logan Act that would be, unless he would be authorized by the government to do it, that would be against the law. And I think it's actually treason. So this is all speculation at this point. However, what isn't speculation is the panic that we're seeing in the media, on X, on social media. People are already alienating Tucker. They're already calling him a Russian stooge. They're calling him, he's on the payroll of Putin. And when journalists say that about another journalist who's going into a foreign country to interview one of the most powerful people in the world today, that's such a sign of fear and weakness. It's not even funny. Every journalist should want to do this. There's sort of this absolutely nonsensical approach that we shouldn't interview people like Kim Jong-un or Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin or other people. We should only get one version of the facts, and that's the version that we present. Real journalists would absolutely jump at every opportunity to do things like that, and we don't have real journalism anymore. So in that, I really applaud Tucker Carlson for doing it. I know it's going to be huge for him as a journalist, but I think it's also highly important. I also think that it is important for the world to hear the Russian president speak on camera, listen to what he says, how he says it, how he thinks. I think that's very important, even though naturally there is an agenda. Every politician that goes in front of a camera has an agenda, wants to transport a certain message. But I think the world doesn't get to hear Putin from his own in his own words. And I think that in and of itself is highly important. That will help people understand certain things better. This is not pro or contra. This is how the world should actually function. This is how conversations in the public arena should actually function. Now, we have another clip for you. All of this is unconfirmed. In this clip, we don't even see Tucker, but this is apparently him leaving the hotel and driving to, they said, the presidential administration. I don't know if they meant the Kremlin or the presidential palace or something else, but this is apparently him on the way. So this is all by the same media outlet that came out. Apparently he's driving over there. There's really not much more to see, and I don't think we will actually get to know anything concrete until the actual interview airs. And I know people are saying everything is fake, everything's a stage, but the interesting thing is you cannot, this is to let something like this happen or witness it happen. There's so many uncontrollables. There's so many uncontrollables in a thing like this. How the conversation goes, how the interview goes, how it airs, how it's edited, all of it. But I think it's highly, highly important. And ultimately, this could be a positive step towards a more peaceful tone. And this is literally what we all need to look at. I'm a little bit tired. I have a little bit of fatigue, psyop fatigue, that people are describing literally every little thing that's happening in the world right now as a psyop. Number one, it's not true. There is so much asymmetrical activity. Asymmetrical meaning it couldn't be planned, it couldn't be anticipated, and it couldn't be co-opted, not in the beginning. There's so much spirit that is moving through people. All of these things are not a psyop. Yes, they can be infiltrated, and that's happening all the time, but spirit actually detects that pretty beautifully, and people are getting wiser for that. So not everything that we see, every positive movement, the farmers' protests, not everything is a freaking psyop. And to say that is a psyop. To go out, and this is what governments do, what agencies do, what certain NGOs do. They'll go out and flood the internet with bots and fake comments that say everything's a psyop, but that in and of itself is a psyop. Why? Because it pacifies people. It makes everybody believe that nobody's for real. Nobody has real honest intention. Nobody's authentic. And everything is infiltrated and co-opted. Now, skepticism is highly important. But asymmetrical movements usually can be pretty much spotted because there isn't just one voice bringing things out. There's not just one message. There's not just one way to describe something. Guess what? Go back to 2020. This is how what a real psyop looks like. When everybody says the same thing, when everybody repeats the same sentences, when everybody has the same name for a problem and the same name for a solution, and all of a sudden every media outlet, left, right, center, is talking the same way, that's a psyop. What we're seeing now, not so much. I think I think we need to really tune in with the spirit here and not dismiss things at hand. I feel very positive about Tucker Carlson having a conversation with the Russian president. I can't wait to watch the interview. There will be a lot that we'll learn from body language, that we will learn from intonation, that we will learn from what message is being transported out. To me, it's also a signal, potential signal, that maybe war doesn't want to be waged. Maybe they don't want to expand this war. We'll see. We'll just have to see, but give it a chance. Don't dismiss it in hand. Tune in with your spirit. This is very important. Now, the other freedom movements that we're seeing in Europe right now, for example, there's a contagion. There's a positive contagion. The Irish people are demonstrating and protesting for a stricter immigration, just like everywhere else in the world. Now, is this all sort of happenstance? No. There was a white paper or a study done and was released in the year 2000 by the UN that was talking specifically about migration trends in the next years, how the aging population, how low fertility rates in the Western world call for mass immigration into all Western nations. Now, this is masqueraded, right? This is the official reason. Unofficially, it is to break down all cultures, religions, social streams, and to create this non-culture. Because this is what happens when you have too much of a melting pot. Nothing can exist anymore. Everything is abruptly ended, and people are beginning to become hostile. And that's an environment that they want, right? That's the environment that they want. No unity among families, no unity among people, political division, economical division, social division. And the people they're really getting wise. And the beautiful thing is it's not rooted in racism. Not at all. The people that are they're not, what is racist about wanting to preserve your culture? What is racist about wanting to preserve your traditions? There's nothing racist about it. And if people migrate to other nations in the world and want to make a new life there, they'll have to assimilate. Of course, you bring some of your traditions and you're willing to share and show people this is how we cook, this is how we pray, this is how we eat, this is how we do it where I come from. Now I'm here. Now I'm willing to share this with you, but I don't expect of you to assimilate to me, right? This is not how it works, and this is not how it should work. If you're a good guest, you come to someone's house, you don't want them to assimilate to you. You will look at, well, what's the temperature here? How do things work here? I'm going to try to work with the lay of the land here. This is how it should be, and people are becoming wise to that, and they don't want it. And simply put, it is kind of the end of, I believe, this naivete that's going even through some of the very, very liberal circles, political liberal circles in the Western Hemisphere. People are beginning to realize, now, hold on, what are they calling for now in major cities in the United States? First they're saying to the rich people, open your second home for immigrants. You don't know if they're illegally here. You don't know how they got here, who they are they gang, you don't know. But let's open your second home. Oh, you have enough space in your first home? You could spare some rooms? Well, why don't we bring them into your house? Who would do that? Who would just invite people they have never met before, they don't know who they are, what they're about, without getting to know them, into their house? What, indefinitely? That is the strategy? And where are the politicians doing this? Where are the mayors and the governors and the senators and the congressmen opening their homes? It's just like going to war. They're the first ones to run their mouths about how something needs, or some country needs to be bombed, and the nation needs to be, we need to be at war with the nation. Are they going? Because unless they're going, why should anybody else? Are they opening their homes? Because unless they're opening their homes, why should anybody else? And so we're at this juncture, and the beautiful thing is that all the movements I'm looking at are rooted in a spirited and peaceful manner. Really, of course, there's people that are angry and people that are bad apples. Yes, but it's really, really beautiful. And this is the momentum we need to carry forward. And it's up to us. It's up to us to shift the conversation from the Mockingbird media pundits and even from the new mainstream alternative media, the MAM, that are running with very similar talking points and are sort of pushing an aggressiveness out there. And we don't need that. That doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve anything. I'll tell you what, the vast majority of people who are in these migration streams, people that come into this nation, I don't believe they're bad people, but there are a lot of bad people, don't get me wrong. But the vast majority are people that, or let's say the majority are people that are looking for a better life. Are they doing it the right way? No, probably not. But are they being encouraged to do it the wrong way? Yes. Are they being enabled? Yes. Are they being supported? Yes. And those are all problems that need to be addressed all over the place. But the most important thing is that this movement is coming from the people. It's not politician driven. It's not a corporate protest. This is we the people gathering spontaneously, beginning to protest spontaneously, turning it into a movement. Germany is already a movement. France is a movement. Netherlands are a movement. Ireland is a movement. The movement must be from the people. And rather than going to the pub on the weekend, they're joining together. They're sometimes it's a blockade, sometimes it's just a gathering on a field, but it is about the conversations and redefining as cultures, as societies, as families, as communities, what do we want and what don't we want? And then taking inspired action towards that which we want to create. This is the final piece of today's live stream, is really talking about how the dark forces have brilliantly strategized and created specific goals, created specific movements, directed their energies and their funds specifically. And we haven't really done that in a specific and in a precise way yet, but we're doing it now. We're doing it now. We're defining certain goals that we have together, and these goals need to be definable. They need to be actionable. It means something so that you and I can do something about it. We can apply ourselves towards those goals, and they need to be measurable. In the self-work, self-improvement work, or in the work that improves the whole society, it needs to be measurable. Otherwise, you don't know how far you're along. You don't know if you're closer to your goal, and you don't even know when you reach it if you don't define it and if you can't measure it. And so these are all things that are going through these structures. We're organizing better. We're pooling our resources better. And more importantly, we're uniting better. This is the message, my friends. So I look forward to everything that's to come. And to wrap it up around the Tucker Carlson thing, we'll keep you in the loop about what happens. I do hope that whatever interview comes out of it will be unifying more than it will be divisive. Now, certain truths I'm sure Tucker will be able to talk about. And then we'll see what happens in terms of reaction of the people, reaction in politics, reaction of the media. Will be interesting to say the least. Please be advised. This is not slowing down. It's just speeding up. There's so much happening. I've never seen anything like it before. And I think we will see much, much more in the following days, weeks, months. This is going to be a monumental year. It already is. And I look forward to it. And we're a part of it. And we're doing it together, my friends. Remember, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free, and we're winning. Much love to you all. Many blessings. Great links in the video description. Go check them out. Please share this live stream. Please hit the like button. And we'll see you all very, very soon.